stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good evening. My name is Janicia Howard, and I'm the director at eStem High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. To all of our supporters watching from near and far, I welcome you to the first virtual commencement ceremony honoring the eHS class of 2020. Tonight, while our platform to recognize these young people is much different than we anticipated, our reason for coming together is the same: to celebrate this remarkable group of future eStem alums. Graduates, as I speak, we are joined by family and friends from across the nation. Tonight, I hope you are surrounded by people who love you the most, the ones who have been on this journey with you. If you haven't already, take a moment to thank your parents, your grandparents, aunts, and uncles for supporting you and being there tonight to celebrate this accomplishment. Grown-ups, I applaud you for your sacrifice and your commitment to your child's success. They would not be here without your presence in their lives. We'll begin the ceremony with addresses from some of our senior leaders. At this time, I would like to welcome your senior class president, Lauren Bazer, to present the class of 2020 welcome address, followed by a reflection by your student body president, Ms. Sophia Wilborn. Two of our top-ranking students, David Mishra and Sarah Heflin, will deliver heartwarming speeches surrounding legacy and resilience prior to us confirming your diplomas. Feel free to follow along using our virtual Flipagram program found on the eHS Class of 2020 website.
Good evening and welcome. On behalf of the Class of 2020, I would like to thank you for attending eStem Public Charter School's 8th Annual Commencement Ceremony and our first ever virtual graduation. Before I go any further, the Class of 2020 would like to give special thanks to our executive leadership, Dr. Bacon and Dr. Barton, for overseeing the school we called home. We would also like to thank the eHS administration, faculty, and staff for the continued support and inspiration, especially our director, Ms. Howard, for her persistent mission to push us to become better versions of ourselves. Most importantly, we would like to thank our families and friends for encouraging us through these difficult times and motivating us to keep pushing through to the end. I personally would like to thank my fellow senior cabinet members, Madison, Callie, OJ, Allie, and Carlos, for their amazing work ethic and passion in supporting our senior class. Also, our student body president, Sophie, and vice president, Genesis, for basically giving every ounce of themselves, including their souls, not only to the class of 2020, but the entire eStem family. Additionally, I would like to thank our senior class sponsors, Ms. Laurent, Ms. McCrae, and Ms. Golden, for their dedication to making every senior event better than the last. Also, the ladies behind the scenes, Ms. Paul, Ms. Roberts, Ms. Bryant, and Ms. Freeland, who care so much about us that they gave up their own time and effort to make sure we got everything we dreamed of for our senior year. Without those previously listed, many of us would probably not be here today. I know I wouldn't have succeeded in my role as class president, because it truly takes a village to make all of my grand ideas become a reality. I would also like to thank my family, who, God bless them, have put up with me for 18 years. Oh, and don't think I forgot about the biggest thank you, which goes out to you, the graduating class of 2020. I'm going to pause for everyone to collectively yell 2-0. Thank you for entrusting me with the opportunity to serve as your class president. It was truly an honor. Every one of you really knows what it is to be resilient, from academic and personal obstacles to new and unexpected changes. I have never seen a group of individuals so driven and hardworking like you guys. It may just be me, but I truly feel like the eHS class of 2020 will forever hype each other up and look forward to each other's accomplishments. I know this isn't what we envisioned our last memories together to look like, but who could have predicted a global pandemic? Well, maybe Captain Pursley. After all we have been through, all the hurdles we've cleared and all the hoops we've jumped through, it would be easy to say that this is just another thing to happen to the class of 2020. But come on, guys, we can't be salty about how these events unfolded. We're the unstoppable class of 2020. We've always looked at the brighter side of things. For example, we are officially a part of history for being the first graduating class of this century's pandemic. If that doesn't make us one of the most resilient groups of people, I don't know what could. Remember, even if we look presentable from the waist up, most of us are probably in pajamas from the waist down. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm way over my time, so I'll leave you with this. We may no longer be in high school, but I will always be your class president, and I will always go to bat for you. I know how headstrong and determined you all are, so don't let me hear that you're accepting anything other than greatness, because you deserve so much more. And I'll be looking for you in about 10 years when it comes time for our class reunion. I love you guys so much, and I will miss you. Congrats, we did it.
Good evening, family, friends, and most importantly, my fellow classmates of 2020. Before I commence my speech, I would first like to thank God, my family, close friends, educators, and coaches for all of their investments, words of encouragement, and lessons. Without you all, I probably wouldn't be here speaking right now. See, 9th grade me would have never thought that I'd be speaking during my high school graduation. And 12th grade me definitely didn't think that I would be delivering this address in front of a cameraman and no crowd. I initially assumed that our accomplishments and achievements would be overlooked due to the uncertain circumstances, but that is nowhere near the truth nor the focus. For us Arkansans, March 12th was the day that our world took an unprecedented turn. Upon Governor Hutchinson's announcement that all schools would be temporarily closed, followed by the closing of hundreds of businesses, everyday life instantly became uncertain. Some saw it as an advantage, while others saw it as a curse. As days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months, the question still lingers, what do we do now? During my quarantine, I spent countless days questioning everything about the world. I asked myself, was all of my hard work for nothing? When will things pay off? And what did we do to deserve this? However, after much reflection, I realized my approach was all wrong. This uncertainty was a blessing in disguise. It's no secret that life often takes us on a roller coaster without our permission. It's full of accelerated ups, downs, and turns so sharp that all we can do is hold on tight and endure the ride. No stops, no breaks, no slowdowns. But this spring, we were fortunate. The ride stopped at its peak and allowed us to see the whole park from a new perspective. We've all been given the opportunity to take a step back and really evaluate what lies ahead before having to buckle down again and prepare for more twists and turns. In the grand scheme of things, high school was just a small stop on the journey. I'll start with freshman year. Personally, this year was my favorite of them all. We were still on the downtown campus at the corner of 3rd and Louisiana, living our best lives. River Market and corner store trips in PE class became monthly ventures that we all looked forward to. We were given more freedom than the average high school freshman, and these liberties created space for our blossoming of independence. Sophomore year, we were introduced to a completely new school environment. eStem High School was no longer downtown. eHS was now on the campus of the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. We were the first high school in Arkansas to be built on a public university campus. Lunch hours were spent in the Donaghy Student Center, where we got to witness college life firsthand at the ages of 15 and 16 years old. Junior year, we were finally adjusting to our new lives on campus. After 10 years, we were finally able to dress however we wanted. No more uniforms, more freedom, but with that freedom came more responsibilities. I learned a lot about accountability during 11th grade. Senior year, the most bittersweet of them all, began with confusion and tension. A plethora of changes were made. Uniforms were reintroduced to the school policy, and a lot of the freedoms that we had the 3 years prior were practically stripped away. Aside from the changes, we did our best to make our senior year as fun and as memorable as possible. This was our statement year, and there was nothing that could get in the way. This year, I realized determination would take me a long way in life. The night before this year's graduation parade, my mom walked into my room with my cap and gown on. Initially, all I could do was laugh and ask her to take my things off, but as I looked into her face, I noticed something. Her eyes glittered with excitement and pride. Just like me, she had been waiting 18 years for this moment. It was only after my mom's impromptu entrance into my room that I finally realized the importance of what's next for us. I stayed up late that night thinking about everything that we've been through and how it's prepared us for the next phase in our lives. Thanks to the administration and staff, we were able to experience something that no other class has before. I was able to receive my diploma while sitting next to the people that matter most to me. What was formerly seen as a regular day became an intimate moment that I'll remember for the rest of my life. The same excitement and pride I noticed in my mom's eyes was present on the faces of every person outside of the school, handing us our eStem diplomas and giving us their final farewells. Overall, these 4 years were a period of trial and error, success and failure. No matter how good people make things look, nobody is perfect, and no one has everything figured out. It's absurd to think of the impact that those 4 years really make in one's life. You honestly can't lose during this time. Of course you'll fail and make countless mistakes, but that doesn't necessarily put you at a deficit. I look at it this way: there are no losses, only lessons. From the beginning of my time at eStem Public Charter High School in 2016 until now, this class has endured some of the most drastic changes in the school's history. From a completely new environment to unwanted dress code changes to the ultimate loss of our final quarter of high school. Oftentimes we felt shortchanged and would victimize our class as the ones who were simply forgotten and unappreciated. But regardless of how we felt, we achieved a lot, more than most, and I wouldn't change our story even if I could. The late Kobe Bryant once said, "I'm reflective only in the sense that I learned to move forward. I reflect with a purpose." With that being said, I challenge each graduating senior today to look back at these past 4 years. As you reflect, think about everything that you've overcome, every opposition, every question, every confrontation. Look at the lesson learned from it and how you can continue to apply its message as life moves on. Remember that the marathon continues. No one can thwart your destiny but you. This is really only the beginning. Continue to work on your crafts, manifest your gifts and dreams. Don't let anybody or anything deter you. Have faith, pray, take risks, evaluate, learn, don't force, be genuine. Make change an obligation because there's no progress in comfortability. For all of the current high school students watching, trust me, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to take risks. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be different. And to my senior class of 2020, we made it. Through everything, we made it. Now it's time to tap into true potential. Thank you. Your 2020 president, signing out, Sophia Wilborn.
Good evening, class of 2020. This is David here. Before I get started, I want to thank God for blessing and giving me the ability to be in the position that I'm in today. I also want to thank my mom, dad, and little brother for always being there for me and loving me no matter what. I would like to thank my friends for making me laugh and always having my back. Although you guys may have been annoying sometimes, y'all brought joy and fun to everything we did. Last, but certainly not least, I want to give a special thanks to every single eStem teacher, staff, and administrator who has helped me along my journey. Without all of these individuals and their love, kindness, and willingness to help, I wouldn't be where I am today. Class of 2020, to say that these past couple months have been crazy would be an understatement. I don't think any of us would have imagined spending arguably the most defining moment of our entire 12 years of schooling and our last moments with our classmates by being virtually together. This feeling is like none other. We worked our entire high school career, taking rigorous classes, staying up late to study for tests, racing to turn in extra credit, signing up for clubs with fancy titles, and re-reviewing our college applications. And just as we're about to celebrate having finally made it through, everything we've worked for has suddenly been put on hold. I mean, it really is anticlimactic. But, just like the title of that song by famous street poet and philosopher Lil Baby, life goes on. Truly, it is a harsh reality. We'll all wake up tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after that, wishing that we could have somehow all avoided this. But we must not dwell on what could have been. If we look back at everything we've been through, from being some of the first to move on to a new campus within a college campus, to sudden changes in school policies, to this current pandemic, all of the hard work, determination, and perseverance that our class has shown is something that will never be forgotten. The eStem High School Class of 2020's resilience is our legacy. Although our school year may have come to an abrupt close and may not have ended on our terms, the legacies of our lives are still being written, and for this, each and every one of us has complete control. With that being said, I encourage each and every one of you to find inspiration during these uncertain times, for there are real superheroes among us. From grocery store workers to mailmen, teachers, police officers, firefighters, doctors, nurses, and everyone in between. Our first responders and frontline workers are true heroes in combating the COVID-19 virus and keeping us all safe. Their courage, compassion, tireless work ethic, and willingness to put their own lives at risk to pull others forward are all things we can learn from and implement to our own lives. For these are key to building a memorable legacy. When we look back at this time, and when commercials go back to talking about everyday things, we should still remember to care for one another. This is what makes us human. This is what moves our world forward. Class of 2020, it's truly been an honor to be around such an amazing group of people. The personalities, brilliance, and uniqueness of our class make us the best class in eStem history, and I couldn't imagine spending 4+ years with anybody else. Our class was nothing short of family, and experiences like these will only pull us closer. I love you guys, and remember, be kind, be fearless, and work hard. Stay safe and be blessed.
While I'm certain graduation is a special time for every senior class, I think it's safe to say that the class of 2020 is in a fairly unique situation. It hasn't been since the early 1900s that a class has exploited the tradition of senior skip day to the degree that we have. Obviously, we have missed out on some of the traditional events that highlight our final year, but we've adapted. And whether you've been at eStem since the beginning or you've just joined recently, we've experienced a great deal together. All big accomplishments require a great deal of help and support, so on behalf of my classmates, I want to thank our families, our friends, and our teachers. Without your help, our destination may have been the same, but our journey would have been much less fulfilling. As we begin the process of embracing our future, we must remember that it's the friends we surround ourselves with that help us shape and enrich our lives. As we leave eStem, heading to college, entering the workforce, or joining the armed forces, our nation is deeply divided on a great many issues. Most of us have been fortunate to live in an environment surrounded by people who believe as we believe, and to have had the luxury of letting the adults deal with the weightier problems. For better or for worse, those days are over. Wherever your next steps take you, hopefully you will be confronted with a multitude of ideas and viewpoints that are different from or challenging to your own. I say hopefully because it is interaction with others who think differently, who believe differently, and who are different that help us grow. That type of growth will help us reach our potential and become difference makers in a world that needs a rising group of compassionate, gracious future leaders. When we were little, my sister and I would fight over something small and inconsequential. And my mother would ask us, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?" Of course, we would always reply with both, or being right makes me happy. Now, these are common answers for a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, or a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and sometimes even an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. However, the lesson she was trying to teach us, and one that I hope I continually try to improve upon, is showing compassion. Compassion is a feeling of deep sympathy for another's misfortune, accompanied with a strong desire to alleviate their suffering. I hope the one thing we take into the world as we leave high school is compassion for others. It's natural to disagree with others and to have different beliefs, but it takes special, compassionate people to understand those differences and find common ground. It takes special, compassionate people to alleviate the suffering of others. Sadly, our world seems to be running low on special, compassionate people. It is my sincere wish for our class to become those people. This challenge may be difficult and it may test our patience, but if we are intentional about it, it's something we can accomplish. So, Class of 2020, congratulations and good luck.
Good evening. I'm John Bacon, Chief Executive Officer for eStem Public Charter Schools, and it's my privilege to join you tonight to celebrate this incredible accomplishment of our eStem High School Class of 2020. We knew that this class would always be a memorable group from the day that many of you walked in our doors as first graders at our downtown campus 12 years ago, but we had no idea how memorable the Class of 2020, and in particular your senior year, would be. We know it hasn't turned out quite the way most of you had hoped, but I do hope that when you reflect back on your 12 years or whatever amount of time you spent at eStem, that you remember all of the good times, all of the incredible teachers you had, the wonderful friendships you made, and the fun activities you were able to participate in while you were an eStem student. Just a word of advice as you move forward. I know many of you wish that we could be gathering as a large group to celebrate this graduation ceremony like normal. One of the things that you'll learn in life as you work your way through adulthood is things don't always go your way. Things don't turn out the way that we hope, no matter how much we plan and practice and prepare. But just know that you're strong enough, you're smart enough, you're capable to handle anything that life throws your way. And you'll be able to get through not only this experience, but any experience you face in life. When you face challenges, just know that you can get through it. Please look back on your time and your experiences at eStem. Remember all of the great things about it, because we'll remember all of the great things that you've accomplished during your time here. It's such a privilege for me every year to represent our faculty and staff at eStem, as well as our board of directors, in standing before you to certify the diplomas that you will be receiving. We're just so proud of you, so proud of this class of 2020, the largest class that's ever graduated from eStem High School, and quite frankly, will always, I'm sure, be the most memorable class in eStem High School's history.
Anna K. Bertelson, Carter W. Bishop, Sarah Lynn Heflin, David Lim Mishra, Cassidy Jewel Tarkington, Noah Allen Wilcoxon, Kenneth Robert Brazel, Annalise Kate Carper, Jordan Marie Collins, Liam E. Gilbert, James William Henry, Andrew Thomas Jones, Kaylin Nathaniel Robinson, Catherine Kearney Roxburgh, Sophia Ellis Wilborn, Kiara Julianne Williams, Lauren Nicole Baser, Genesis Lene Bradley, Bessie T. Ekoramadu, Tamia Nicole Farmer, Nandi Zune Hervey, Jacelyn K. Holstead, Alexandria Grace Johnson, Reagan Michelle Jordan, Elizabeth Morgan Mason, Timothy Lowan McBride, Ojugo Lariakawa Otuchere, Nicholas Dwayne Rocker, Gabby Simonkas, Micah George Smith. Soraya Chanel Tucker. Naomi Elizabeth Vance. Jade Faith Walker. Caroline Elizabeth Williams. Hunter Sebastian Aaron. Devian Lee Abdullah. Evan John Abdullah. Hannah Grace Abdullah. Carissa Mackenzie Adams. Madison Iona Nicole Albert. Jalen Thomas Allison. Jaden Nazayon Banner. Tia A. Bowley. Helen Olivia Bowling. Chasney Granger Ronique Bright. DeAndre Liddell Brown Jr. Warren Cooper Brown. Jada Lorraine Butler. Ashanti Marie Campbell. Maurice Andre Carlock II. Danielle Marie Carter. Taylor Nicole Chapman. Jason Anderson Ponce Chavarria. Ikaya Janae Coleman. Chloe A. Connors. David Emmanuel Cummings. Vanicia E. Darton. Lauren Ray Davis. Jose Abelardo del Cid. Queen Esperanza de Rosset. Arion Deshawn Finley. Callie Quay Foster. Haley Simone Franklin. Lakaya Diane Givens Smith. Denez Lachey Gleason. Jasmine Faith Gomez. Juan Jose Gonzalez. Ryan Nicholas Gore. Robert Aurea Graham. Gabriel Adam Gresham. Lamaya Nicole Griffo. Isaiah Dominic Guerra. Olivia S. Hardwick. Brianna Nicole Harris. Jemiah Quinette Harris. Javion Terrell Harrison. Philip Patton. India Elise Hester. Gerald Capacite Hill. Elita D. Ward. Cecilia Grace Hoffman. Xavier Joanne Holloman. Deloria Lee Holloway. Shamar Anthony Holloway. Martez Tiffian Holmes. Tristan Addison Hubbard. Trinity Mauricia Hudson. Maxwell C. Hughes. Lamaya Janae Jackson McClendon. Glenn Jenkins Jr. Kinsley Sky Johnson, Christopher LaShawn Jones, Jaron Dwayne Jones, Kyron L. Jones, Ayana R. Ketchum, Henry Addison Lanford, Kylan Jacob Larry, Jonathan Deshaun Lawrence, Gregory Todd Lipscomb, Isabel Lopez, Zachary Michael Lynn, Adriana Phyllis McIntosh, Melody Noel Mallard, Alexandra Monet Marshall, Keith Dremont Martin Jr., Tristan Edward Martin, Nolan Garrett McKee, Pierce Michelle Mead, Jasmine Ebene Merida, Frederick Douglass Moore, Kendall R. Moore, Logan Antonio Morales, Joshua Michael Moser, John Henry Dixon Newton, Caitlin Ray Nicole Oakland, Caleb Lee Patterson, Joshua Lee Patterson, Isabel Delaney Pearson, Sophia Latrice Vaughn Perez Santos, Makai Jamal Phillips, Lauron Cortez Pitts, Jack W. Pruitt, Victoria Ramirez, Lauren Ray Ritter, Jakari D. Rhodes Bell, Kayla Latrice Richard, Tyler Allen Richard, Corbin Mackenzie Roberts, Emily Michelle Robinson, Carissa Alessandra Rocco, Tanaya Elise Roden, Nelson Vladimir Orantes Rodriguez, Jonathan Alejandro Romero, Jacob Lamont Sanders, Nathaniel Andrew Scallon, Thomas John Scoggin, Colin Martin Scott, Dylan C. Sewell, Andrea Caroline Sexton, Nina Simone Sharpley, Braden L. Shelton, Michaela Camille Sims, Brianna M. Smith, Zachary Nicholas Stewart, Elliot Aggie Stewart Estes, Brittany Michaela Tell, Kaylin Lamar Thurston, Carlos V. Tidwell, Jemiah N. Todd, Cordell Lamont Washington, Eric Tyrone Washington Jr., John Lamont Washington, Mallory Watts, Catherine Joy Weisenfelder, Nairobi Mikhail White, Kristen Aaliyah Williams, Tyron Deshaun Williams, Jillian L. Wilson, Michael Ray Wilson, Terrell Alexander Wilson, Malia Page Woods, Ayana Zane Young, Caleb Young, Yafet Zapata.
We would all be remiss not to acknowledge that your experience over the last couple of months marks a time in the world's history that will be discussed for generations to come. Just think about it. Mr. James, Mr. Duran, Ms. Dorsey, Ms. G, and Mr. McLeod will need to add your story to at least one of their history lessons next year. Tonight, my hope for you is that you leave eStem knowing that the educators here did their very best to prepare you for the next phase of your lives. I pray that we intentionally modeled humility, patience, enthusiasm, and authenticity in our interactions with you. And while you may be a little anxious about what comes next, the mistakes you've made and the obstacles you've overcome have only prepared you to climb over, go around, and bust through anything that dares to stand in the way of your greatness. So you guys missed out on like 2 months of my culture focus on morning announcements, so I have to leave you all with at least a few jewels in my final farewell. First, love is a choice and a commitment. Be sure to practice loving yourself first. Second, know your worth. If you don't, all your haters will define it for you. And last, guys, adulting is not easy. So in those moments when you feel the smallest in the room, remember to hold your head up, put your shoulders back, and remember that eStem grads are groomed for success. Make me proud, Mets. Okay, eStem class of 2020. Every year, as a part of our tradition for this ceremony, this group will actually say the school motto one last time before you actually get your diplomas. So, our school motto says this:
We rise every morning,
knowing that there are no limits to greatness.
We navigate through school
committed to being the absolute best version of ourselves.
We understand that every obstacle we encounter
is a disguised opportunity
for us to become even more amazing.
We are students.
We are educators.
We are fearless.
We are eStem.
Make it a great day, Mets.